Welcome to today's Timeless Tarot reading brought to you by I.MAGI.NATION. And today's topic is, why am I in a rut? So before we look into that, we're going to do a land acknowledgement of where this video is brought to you from. So let's watch. In the spirit of respect, reciprocity, and truth, we honor and acknowledge that together we live, work, and play on this land of the people of traditional Treaty 7 territory, the Blackfoot Confederacy, Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, the Tsuut'ina Nations, Iarhe Nakoda, and Region 3 Métis Nation of Alberta. So for today's pick a pile, we're going to have these three piles as your options. So the purple pile here will be pile number 1. The middle pile will be pile number 2. And the blue pile will be pile number 3. So please take a few moments and focus on which pile you feel like. And then we're going to head on over. I will mark pile number 1 with the Shadowscapes box and pile number 2 with the Wild Unknown Tarot box and pile number 3 with the Bear Paw, just so that you have a visual marker. So let's head into pile number 1. And just give me a moment here to get myself set up. Can we see that okay? So this is for pile number 1, about why am I stuck in a rut? So let's get looking. So let's find you. The Chariot card. And bottom of the deck is King of Wands reversed. Okay, how very interesting. So let's start off with this, shall we? You, pile number 1, are being represented by the Chariot. I don't know if it's focusing. I did have a light source, but it seems to maybe not be working as well. How about here? So, the Chariot is kind of saying that maybe you're not so much stuck in a rut, but that you are on the fast track out. And we will definitely check into that, because the reason why you're here checking out this reading is the King of Wands reverse, which means you might be trying to get away from someone who might be playing you, who might be a smooth talker, wham bam kind of guy, or someone who's being overly controlling, possessive type character. So we're going to have to look into that some more. Let us check it out. So if this is representing you and you're on the movement, let's see, where are you coming from? Ooh, that's, there we go, there we go, there we go. Okay, pile number 1, past, present, future. So we have the Sun reversed for the past, the Moon reversed for the present, and the Knight of Cups upright for the future. So what's interesting here is that it very much seems like you may be trying to get out of a situation or a pattern in the types of men or women or individuals of any expression that may not have been best serving you, like maybe attached to the passion and the excitement and charisma, but you always found yourself unhappy, and that rut may be more of a pattern or a cycle. So in the past, yeah, it was fun while it lasted, because the sun doesn't mean like it's totally the worst ever. The sun very much gives us like there is some joy up in here. There is some happiness, but it's not as glorious as I expected it to be. So perhaps the rut, again, is about the types of people we may be choosing to be entangled with, or that we find that we keep getting coming to us over and over again. And that, sure, it's exciting and exuberant at the beginning, but it's not our actual true happiness. So at the present, perhaps there is a lot of that coming to light, or been doing a lot of personal soul searching, been doing a lot of, wow, I really had like an exposure thing going on here, but trying my best. I apologize for the quality. It will eventually upgrade as I work on this. But with the moon reverse, things are coming to light. You may have seen negative patterns or lies, or basically have this stuff come to the forefront. Some soul searching has been going on, basically. And with that, you want to move hard and fast away from this pattern that you are exhibiting towards the type of love that you've been hoping for, which is more emotional and secure, sensitive and nurturing. The Knight is more of the... I do also want to say that the Knight of Cups can be... Okay, you may not like this. So you may think that this is what you want, and you're ready to like dive forward into it. But the Knight of Cups can also be very much like, I'm going to sweep you off your feet and I'm going to whisper sweet nothings to you, and it's going to seem, you know, like the promise of emotional fulfillment, whereas Wands may be just more lustful and passionate. But I would caution some awareness around this if it's about people that you might be getting emotionally entangled with. But because it's in the upright, there is a positive... It is that you are going towards positive emotional fulfillment, let's say, is your desire. And the rut is trying to break the cycle of these experiences before you. So I want to pull a little bit more with a different deck to find out about this Knight of Cups. Let's maybe put it more like this. So, tell me about this Knight of Cups. Okay, that's a lot of cards. High Priestess reversed, the Hanged Man reversed, the Nine of Wands reversed, Four of Swords reversed, Ace of Cups reversed, and Five of Swords. Okay. Battle number one. We need to talk. Because this Knight of Cup that you are barreling in for, I'm going to cycle back to that the present tense, by this reading anyway, is the Moon card here. And the Moon card is basically, you know, you could not be seeing things clearly, even though you've been doing a lot of soul searching and have been seeing patterns come up, and you're trying to get away from them, like vigorously try to get away from them. You may not be seeing everything entirely clearly. There may be still some illusions into your mindset and behavior by thinking that you can just barrel ahead towards this Knight of... I wonder if I can go over here to like, oh yes, the Knight of Cups. So The reason why this gets reaffirmed is because of the High Priestess reversed, and the High Priestess reversed very much is, again, intuition's off, perhaps, not really listening to the inner voice and going more with what you logically think is the better idea. The Hanged Man reverse is not, basically maybe needlessly self-sacrificing or not getting the wisdom by taking the time out to have things be assessed. So it may be still seeing things from the same perspective. Nine of Wands reverse very much talks about the fact that there is woundings that we haven't totally healed from that could be contributing to our repetitious patterns of our illusions with the moon down here, and that by perhaps we're just not addressing them, not seeing them, or thinking that we've worked through them and we totally haven't, or just bearing them by not wanting to address them because we put our attention on other people to distract ourselves from our own stuff. And so it seems like instead of taking a period of rest and reflection for yourself, instead you're constantly putting yourself externally out there for other people, wanting to engage with others. And not that that's always a bad thing, but at certain points, especially with the cards before this, it is saying that there needs to be a lot of inner work still, and that this is more of a distraction technique, which tends to not bring in your emotional fulfillment. It may be the way that we want to go so that we don't have to feel perhaps lack, or, well, I'm going to rephrase that. We're probably feeling lack, and that may be why we're not looking at certain things. But this in itself fundamentally is the rut, and it may be the rut about more positive or fulfilling or healthy emotional connections. This doesn't entirely have to be romantic, but it could strongly be romantic. But it could also be with trying to please family or work colleagues, etc. It could be about this trying to get away from a pattern but still bringing the pattern with you, because it's really some interior work that needs to be done that doesn't get looked at. And instead it's a cycle of coming back to that same conflicting experience over and over and over again, where you may feel used, you may feel victimized, and then you go through a period of withdrawal and severing and not connecting with anyone, and then you go back out there and have the same experience happen all over again. So that sounds like the rut that you may be in, even though you may think that you are trying to like very speedily get away from this pattern. I would also like to now pull some more cards and put them all up here so you can see them, my friends. So let's find out what kind of information you need for working through this rut. That's a lot of cards that went flying, but I'll take the two that are upright. The Tower and the Six of Wands, and I'll just take a quick moment to get those cards. Okay, so those cards were upright as well, and that's the Page of Swords reversed and Temperance reversed. So, it seems like perhaps maybe another experience is coming your way, or some spontaneous surprise that could shake up your world. Doesn't necessarily have to be bad, but it will be seen as successful. However, communication and out of balance is going to come from this. So let's talk this out in regards to the rut in particular. So I do see this very much in this way. I think for what I'm picking up with this Page of Swords right now is that it's reversed, and I think it's, instead of focusing on other people and communicating with others, and it's more about learning how your own self-talk is and how your own thoughts are. Looking at those, looking at how you dialogue with yourself, and looking at how you may be treating yourself or thinking, I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy, or I am not this unless that, or I can't have this until that. All these limiting kinds of thoughts, which keep you perpetually out of balance, which make you feel, hello, let's try and get the autofocus. There we go. Temperance basically is that on a very large scale, you feel extremely out of balance, and it's because there is a lot of inner turmoil going on with that self-talk. It will be very important to me. The Tower is about working on deconstructing that internal narrative that's going on. Very much work on breaking apart ingrained beliefs, thoughts about self, because if you feel like this pattern keeps showing up for you everywhere, and this may not be something, and I'm not, a psychologist or anything like that either, but my theory that I've been taught is that it's within yourself, and that's why it keeps coming back up. So looking within yourself and working at deconstructing things is the way to eventually garner success with this breaking of this rut. Now, I want to be very clear that in regards to this, this is not like I suddenly realize that I have this negative thought pattern and just poof, it's magically different. That's not how this works. It is through repetitious practice. It is through having things come up in small, minute ways that allow us to practice and test whether we are building up the strength to change those thoughts, or even recognizing them and being able to disrupt them. So if you start to get into a mental head spiral, for example, and start shaming yourself internally, are you able to recognize that and disrupt yourself and go, no, I am good, I am well, I am strong, I am happy, I am complete, whatever the words are that you need. And you're going to have to do that every time. You're going to have to disrupt yourself every time. And it gets annoying, I'm sure. But through the practice is like building a muscle and building and changing the neuroplasticity of your brain. You are then able to shift and have new pathways open up to you, which gets you out of a rut. So let's go back over to our cards and see if there is any advice from the guidance cards. So we're going to consult some guidance oracle cards to see if there is a message that could be helpful for you, pile number 1. There she be. Let's see what this is. Earthworm. So nice earth energy. So I will read from the book, which is the animal, sorry that this is backwards for you, Animal Spirit Guidebook. And if I can get some light up here, there we go. Earthworm. Shy, hesitant, reluctant to share inner vision. We have all felt the woes of the earthworm at some point along the way. The earthworm indicates a newbie or novice working to establish confidence in a new field. Others around you may seem wise and experienced, but it's important to remember they once felt earthworm energy too. This card is a reminder not to be intimidated or lose hope. Mastery takes time, and you're on the right track. Besides, rumor has it, a beginner's mind offers the most valuable insights. So, again, this could be about relationships romantically, within a family unit, within a friend unit, within a work unit. And there may be basically repetitious patterns coming up with someone else that make you feel like your confidence is destroyed, or that your self-esteem gets lowered, that you may feel victimized, that you may feel like people have negative thoughts against you. So the earthworm here, as you heard, is very much saying, as I mentioned, repetitious practice is on the track to mastery. And I do like the messaging of a beginner's mind brings a lot of opportunity and blessings. Because if we start to just accept and think to ourselves, I know nothing and I am open to learn, then everything becomes a lesson instead of, oh, this is the thing that I already know and it's this, and that's re-ingraining this kind of thing. So I definitely took a CBT class. This may not be for everyone, obviously, but that was very helpful with practicing beginner mind and disruptive thought patterns, and being able to change hot thoughts into something more productive for yourself, and then to be able to repeat that to yourself over and over again. So that could be something you may want to look into, but this is not a hard and fast guarantee that that's going to work for you, pile number one. It's just a suggestion because it's something that I have direct experience with, but it could be anything that you need to do to work through this. But it really sounds to me like there's a lot of mental and emotional turmoil on the inner landscape that needs looking at, rather than distracting ourselves with the external world. So that is basically your reading, pile number one. I hope that helps give you your insight into why you are stuck in this rut. And you know, please do the like, share, subscribes, all the social media things, which you're savvy and totally know how to do, because that's how the bots need info, and it's also how I would like to get info so that I know what you may like to see in the future. And with that being said, thank you so much for checking out your reading, and you can always see what I get up to as well at my website, imaginationwitch.com. Thank you so much, pile number one. We'll see you later. So we are going now back over to pile number two, which is going to be the Wild Unknown Tarot box for group number two. I don't know why that pinky thing just happened. So, group number two, we're going to look at why you are in a rut, and we'll see if there's any insight as to why you may be here checking out this reading, more so than just the fact that you feel like you're in a rut. So, group number two. Show me what this person is and their underlying reason for being here today. So, there's the person, which is the Eight of Swords reversed, and there's extra, and the bottom of the deck, Daughter of Pentacles. Okay, so what I'm going to take with this so far, we're going to explore pile number two on if my initial assessment is correct. But with a Daughter of Pentacles kind of vibe or energy going on here as the reason why you're checking it out, I get the sense that you are already doing a lot of work to try and get yourself out of a rut. You are acknowledging that you're in one, you definitely want to be working on it, and you are taking some time out in a positive way to educate yourself, look for information and tools and guidance to try and help you work on this in a positive way. You have been shifting belief structures. You have been letting go of perspectives that no longer serve you. You are in a chrysalis process. And it's been very much taking out time to gain your inner insight and inner wisdom. So it sounds like you are definitely working on it already. And you know what it probably is. But for the fun of it, we're going to see what the cards have to say about what it is. So, cards, let's look into what is the rut for pile number 2. Ooh, that's a lot. Too much, too much. Okay, there's 1. Okay, pile number 2. This is getting good. So, pile number 2, I definitely think you are well in the process of, woo, hold on. We just lost some light. Oh dear. My apologies, group number 2. Looks like I lost some light source, so I had to go get a different one. The joys of technology. So, maybe this will actually work out in our benefit. Who knows? But, let's go and check out what these cards are saying to me. Hello! Let's see if there's some focus that can happen. Hi! What's up? Okay. So, we have the 2 of Swords reversed, which is great. So it kind of seems like you're definitely on the path of doing some strong amounts of self-work to get through the rut that you're in. The rut used to be about indecision, okay? The 2 of Swords very much says that if you made any choices whatsoever, you probably constantly questioned them or would flip back and forth on them, and there was a lot of personal self-doubt when it came to decision making or about your beliefs or being able to stay kind of grounded and strong in what you believe you're doing. Wow, I'm so sorry about the autofocusing and the light issues. Maybe I should sit back here. How's that? We'll try that. So, it does seem that with the Chariot upright, you are making a lot of progress now. You are starting to commit and be dedicated towards the decisions that you make. Beforehand, you would feel like you were very much stuck. Or what I should say is not beforehand, is that the actual rut itself was difficulties with making decisions, therefore feeling that you were quite stuck and not having the ability to go forward anywhere. And that would give you a lot of depression and make you feel like it was always bad timing. But now it's entirely different. Now, cards. Now we have the 2 of Swords reversed. Yeah, that's right. And you're starting to be able to make decisions. You now have the Chariot upright. It makes you feel like you're able to like go and move forward in life and be committed and confident in where you're going. And it brings you out of a spiral of possible depression feeling because you feel more in control of your life. And you feel like it's all in good timing, like finally you've gotten your lucky break. But I want to let you know too, it's not Wow. I hope this entertains you, and don't mind my crazy hair in the back. I'm having some issues today, but the Wheel of Fortune to me says if you feel like, yeah, it's finally my time, or it's finally broken, or have had a stroke of luck, just know that you've also been doing the work and have brought it about within yourself, because you have the Hermit reversed and the Eight of Swords reversed. So you've been a big contributor in this luck as well. So let's go and look now and get some insight into what else you need to know about this rut and where it's going. So let's do that. Or where you are headed, basically. If you're going to totally break out of this rut. Okay, so I would definitely say, group number 2, that there's been a lot of releasing of the past, and it's been giving you a lot of personal power and strength. So something from the past, perhaps in childhood, or past mistakes, not entirely in childhood, but when you felt maybe more adolescent or younger in life, you started not trusting making your own choices, or oscillating between options in life. So you're starting to release things from the past, and it gives you a lot of personal power, strength, and confidence, which is really great. What I do want to bring up is that, wow, no. I hope the tech jumps and weirdness are at least amusing at this point in time. Technical gremlins are up in this place. What I was trying to say was that this Page of Cups reverse kind of heralds that there will still be some issues coming up for you to face and to go through that may trigger some old thought patterns or beliefs. We're going to look and pull a bit more on this. Normally, I want to say when this kind of stuff comes up, it's really about kind of checking in with tests, you know, like you may think you'd be totally doing good and you've got this, and then something comes and kind of rocks your boat and brings up old thoughts. And it's just ways of testing and seeing on how you're doing, and it's really more about a check-in with yourself to like know where you got to keep working and bring up more things from the subconscious. So let's just pull a couple of extra cards to clarify further the Page of Cups reversed and that Eight of Swords reversed for my group number 2. Let's do it. Here we go. So please clarify Page of Cups reversed. Opa. We've got the 10 of Swords reversed. And please clarify the Ace of Swords reversed. 5 of Swords reversed. Yeah, okay. So it is kind of like what I'm thinking, which is, you know, you're on the outs. I just want to let you know, whatever this rut is, which we kind of went through about the decision making, and you know, you are on the mends, you're on the out from it, you felt like you couldn't go on like this, and you've been putting in a lot of effort, and it's been doing great for you. Good job. Keep going. You will get there, right? So don't let yourself be totally, should this Page of Cups reverse bring up some shit for you, as well as that Ace of Swords reverse, because, you know, it is going to be about releasing sense of victimhood. It is going to be about not letting things kind of throw you off as easily or have a thicker sort of, I don't even want to say skin, but I want to say like maybe mind fortress. Like, maybe you'll see or have kind of the thoughts go, ugh, as a knee-jerk reaction, but then you'll very quickly have a change in perspective, or at least be able to recognize it and go, oh yeah, I see this, and I can change this, and bring yourself back to being like, I am confident, I can make decisions, I believe in myself, all that kind of stuff. So the thing here is very much, there will be some tests that will bring up some old stuff from the past. It'll shake you up, but it's just part of the process of coming out of the dark times and making yourself stronger. So with that being said, pile number 2, let's look at guidance. The Scorpion. I love scorpions because, you know, they just got this little hard body and amazing tail, and they're just fascinating that they can live in deserts. And you're like, Jen, I know all this, it's great, let's move on to actually seeing what's up in the book. So good call. The Scorpion, passionate, competitive, tends towards isolation. I'm going to read for you, from the Animal Spirit Guidebook. I will also remember in the future to flip the camera so that text will be legible to you. My apologies. But here we go. The Scorpion is a passionate and determined creature. Their career is very important to them, as are a few select friends. Sometimes the Scorpion's heat festers, and they focus on an unresolved event from the past, usually a situation where they were left feeling burned. The Scorpion card says it's time to come clean about your feelings so everyone can heal and you can get back to your usual fiery but fun self. So, it is interesting. Focus. That may not be for all of you. It definitely could be that you just need to do that inner work and release things from your past about stuff where you were wounded, 100%, but it may also involve you having to have confrontations and discussions, because there is a lot of swords, which is about communications and thoughts. So one of the things for sure, if you do think that you need to have conversations with a person, remember, 2 of Swords reversed. Trust yourself in your decision makings. Do what's right for you. Do what pushes you forward. Do what makes you feel like will help you break out of cycles of depression. Do what you feel like is the right time for you to do something. And you are well on your way, my dear pile number 2. So thank you so much for coming through and watching your reading. I hope that's helpful for your situation. And you can always give the shares, likes, subscribes, etc. You know how you do on this internet jazz. The bots need to know stuff, but also I need to know stuff. I would love to hear your insights and any future suggestions for readings that you might want to see on this channel. So please go ahead and do so. You can also always check me out over on Instagram, where I do zodiac related tarot readings and show more of the spell crafting side of things. And if you want to check out anything more about me, you can always check me out on my website at I.MAGI.NATION.com. Thank you so much, pile number 2. I say goodbye to you and have a wonderful rest of your time. And now we are going to head over to pile number 3, the bear claw. So let's put that up in here. Number 3. So pile number 3s. Seems that you feel like you are in a bit of rut, eh? And you've come here to get the tea. what's up? Some Queen of Wands and Sun reverse energy that kind of slipped away there. Let's continue to explore. Oh, Emperor and Ten of Pentacles. So we had the Queen of Wands and the Sun reversed, the Emperor, and the Ten of Pentacles. And this seems to be like a rut, eh? This may be about a sort of long-term commitment, or working towards long-term commitment, or long-term life goals. So let's see what you are in this rut pattern. Ooh, Ace of Cups reverse, and the underneath of the deck, that Ten of Pentacles. I would dare say, pile number 3, I'll wager that it's more about your emotional connections for your long dream of whatever that looks like for you, for your lifelong fulfillment. And by that I mean, we're having tech issues today, just so you know, so I apologize. Just one sec. Okay, we're gonna try using some more light, and I've been having a lot of tech issues with this video, so I hope you'll find it entertaining. If you haven't watched through all the other bits of this video, it might be really funny to do so, just for the tech trauma that is happening. Anyway, pile number 3, let's get into it. We've got the Ten of Pentacles reversed. Now this tends to talk about your lifelong ambitions. What does, you know, committed partnership or relationship look like for you in the long term? Who do you want to grow old with? And that could be multiple people, it could be singular, it could be no people at all, because everyone's allowed to know what is best for them, but that plays into what your notion of the Ten of Pentacles is. And I'm holding it upside down, but it was a right side up card. Ugh. Anyway, pile number 3. I also hope I didn't call you pile number 2 earlier. I'm having a moment. I'm so sorry. Anyway, the reason why you're here checking this out about the rut is because, hello, focus. Focus. We're just going to ask for focus, okay? Is because of the fact that you want, or you have a vision of what your long-term life plan is, and it's not happening for you fast enough. And you are annoyed, and you feel like this is a rut that you're stuck in. You're like, why are we not here? Okay, before we go further at all, I'm just going to say, pile number 3, that definitely we need to experience some things in life to bring us along the way to our Ten of Pentacles. But I mean, maybe you're like, oh, I have definitely been living life and experiencing things, so don't know what you're talking about, Jen, but we're going to find out about that. Why is emotional connection, new emotional connection that pile number 3 wants to lead to a long-term romantic, well, maybe not romantic, but a long-term committed vision of life? Why is that blocked and not coming to fruition? Why is that a rut for pile number 3? So let's do just easy past card. Present card. Ooh, that's a lot of cards. Do that. Okay. So this is interesting. Pile number 3. I'm gonna pull some more clarification on this actually, because this to me isn't really talking about the rut too much. I mean, these all seem like really good cards. I Actually, I do have a narrative that comes to mind, but I'm going to pull a card anyway just to get some insight. There. Okay. I'll put these over here. How's that? And it's frozen in time. Pile number 3. The narrative is interesting when the cards are in this way because they're quite beneficial. But when we're asking what is the blockage, it used to be very much about anxieties and fears, feeling victimized, being in a space of depression, not feeling like you have any authority or power over your own life, and not being able to go within. But that's not the case at this present time. So it sounds like you're frustrated because, hey, you've been doing some work. You've been letting go of anxieties. You've been like, hey, I'm not up freaking out every night. I'm not losing sleep over things. I've really processed and let go of some traumas and issues. I very much look at the past and how things have come up for me around people and how they treat me and how I absorb that or process that and how that sits within me, and I'm able to release any judgment or displeasure towards other people and release that and not carry it within me. I'm no longer feeling depressed. I'm interested in opening up to new cups in my life. The only thing here that has some issues though, you feel like you're very open and you're ready to go forward with this Ace of Cups, but the Ace of Cups is blocked. You've been doing all this work. You're out of depression. But we still have the Magician reversed and the Hermit reversed. And for me, that says there needs to be more, perhaps inner exploration. Like these are majors, right? So this is some like big personal stuff for you. So it could be needing to do more self-development just because you aren't having as much anxiety issues or depression issues and have released something that happened in the past. Maybe it's some trauma, maybe it's PTSD or CPTSD. These may not be resonating for everyone, but these are just examples. There is still a lack of personal power and confidence. And the Magician is also the manifestor card, right? So there is a block within yourself that is blocking the Ace of Cups. And it's hidden deep within you. It involves needing to go deep within yourself to find it. It's not external to you, this Ace of Cups. You're like, but I'm open. I swear I'm open. But there's something that you may subconsciously not even know about yourself that is radiating a sense of blocking new love coming in, or new emotional connection might be a better way to say that. And it has to do with the belief of being able to have all of the skills and bring about in the world whatever you desire, and it's definitely a subconscious block deep within the psyche of yourself. Let's look more into that because I pulled cards to expand. We have the Three of Cups reversed. I get a couple of things here. I get that cheating. I get that perhaps one of the big issues was perhaps an unfaithful scenario in the past left you constantly being anxious in relationships later on because you were shown that you couldn't trust a person, and that made you feel powerless and victimized and depressed. and that pattern may have shown up as triggered things when you were in new relationships, even if that was not the case and whether there was a third party scenario or not. The other thing that I get, if that is not the narrative, is the other energy of toxic socializing, and what that I mean, like partying in a self-destructive manner. So, you know, just frying your brain on hardcore drugs and alcohol and not sleeping and maybe having wild and not safe sex and whatever. It's about jeopardizing yourself, your body, your health, etc. Could also be part of a narrative for someone out there. Just reminds me now, of course, at the end of this whole thing that I forgot to do the general reading statements, but oh well. We also have the Four of Pentacles reversed and the Eight of Cups reversed. So you're starting to let go of things, and I do see this very much, okay, hitting things. I apologize. This is just like a hot mess kind of day. For those of you who may have the story of the third party scenario, and that you may have had a lot of trust issues and anxiety and fear over that, you're starting to let go. Okay, you're starting to let go of that in relationships and how you think and look at people, and starting to build and have trust. You are coming down from your mountain to readdress the cups. Okay. Now, for some people, they may think that that means, oh look, I have found this cup and that's it, and I swim away. That's not the case. Here, for me, this is, my cup is still blocked. And I walked away from a bunch of cups from the emotions of the past. And now I'm in the process of having to come down and address them. And that may have naturally happened over the course of time, where you start to let things go and you start to open up and you start to not think about it as much, or it affects you as much. But there's still something there for you to look at. Okay, in that scenario, you have to come back and address those emotions, because that's part of the blockage of why this Ten of Pentacles is not able to come into your life as of yet. For those who may have the toxic partying kind of thing, I think you may just be like running out of money. That's a horrible thing to say. Or maybe that it's looking at your finances and realizing how much you're just tanking into this kind of lifestyle, and you're deciding that, hey, maybe that's not the best kind of investment. And so again, wanting to come back and look at the behavior, look at what has emotionally driven you to the behavior. There is always something underneath as to why we may party hard. It's not just about like, this is fun. That is a surface level thought. There is definitely, you know, I'm trying to drown something out. I'm trying to numb something out. I'm trying to replace a feeling of love because I feel lack. Whatever it is, and whatever your indulgent over partying behavior might be, if this is your narrative, it's needing to address what that behavior is fulfilling for you emotionally. So let's go back to the card view. Let's get some advice on how to keep going. This one's here, this goes here, and this goes here, and this goes here. Oh, move all the things up so you can see. Okie dokie. So, group number 3. It seems like there is an interesting cycle in flux here, and that you're coming to the point of addressing it again. And it's around communication, and the Lover's reverse. So again, this brings up for me that first narrative of third-party action or mistrust in relationship. Maybe like finding texts or images or, you know, methods of communication that were being hidden from you while your partner was off indulging in some other partnership. Which kind of also has over here this holding on extremely tightly and becoming more controlling, and like, where are you going, who are you going with, when are you getting home, like being a lot more gripping around the person. So there's this interesting duality that, like, you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything because I don't trust you. And I'm not saying that one causes the other or vice versa, but that it interplays. The more you try to grab on, the more that person might have gone into indulging into another human being. And the more they did that, the more you tried to hold on. And that's the world. That's the big lesson, the big chapter, the big thing that needs to be addressed. If this was around the notion of some hardcore partying, I definitely think this is going to sound funny, but the first thing that I got over here was like, delete all of your dealer's numbers. Cut yourself off. You got to like find a way to, you know, get the word out there that to your friends, to your suppliers, etc., to like, no matter, even if you ask, just don't give it to me. Really start trying to hold on to your money and do some financial planning. It may be difficult at first. It may be something that you need help with to like move forward on this path, because this path still seems blocked. But I think that's because it is a lesson. First, we need to like be able to address some of our issues. If we're not able to work on them ourselves, to like go ahead and get help, clean up our finances in a more pragmatic way, as well as eventually this will be able to be upright. But reversed, I think it's still that we need to learn the lessons before we can move forward, or else we're just going to carry it down that pathway with us. So the next thing, this kind of leaves you basically hanging in the balance here. So before we call on some guidance cards, I want to see just like overall how this world gonna go. Okay, so we have here the Chariot reverse. This may be a slog for whatever the narrative is that you're resonating with in this reading. This may take time. This may not happen as fast as you want it to. It may be like, why is this taking forever? I thought I worked on this already. Ultimately, again, whatever the narrative, it is about bringing yourself back in balance and having trust and faith and stability. Reigniting a passion in life, and whether that passion is for, you know, on one hand, new emotional connections that you can have trust in, and feeling that emotional connection, which brings butterflies and excitement and puppy love, and actually believe it, right? And not be too caught up in the fear and what ifs of possible third-party scenarios. Or this is about like finding something that fulfills you in a different way other than toxic partying, and grabbing a hold of that idea, that future, that feeling, etc., and charging forth with it and being like, this is it, I'm sticking with this. But this energy needs to last for the long haul, because it's gonna go. So don't run full steam ahead, because you're just gonna run out of gas right away, and you need to think long game here. So you need to be strategic with your decision making, in self-analyzing as well, holding space for your own mind, beliefs, patterns coming up, etc. And be willing to put in the long haul of the work. So let's go over and get ourselves a guidance card. We have the snake, which I believe is earth energy. And I'm going to read out of the book, which is the Animal Spirit Guidebook by the Wild Unknown. Once I find it. Doopy, doopy. There we go. So, ready? The guardian of unawakened magic and creative potential. The snake is a symbol of our highest potential. It is said that our creative life force lies dormant at the base of our spine in the form of a coiled snake. Regardless of whether this image rings true for you, it's well worth considering the amount of unawakened or untapped potential within. What would life look like if you woke it up? How can you stir it from slumber? Make haste, the snake card appears when there is no more time to waste. So what I get from this is very much, depending on the narrative, because we've got two energies going on here, is, yeah, imagining the potential if you were able to release the fear of being cheated on and having trust issues. Imagine this cycle being completed. Imagine the vibrancy that's going to come back into your life by being able to let go of it. And in regards to possible toxic behaviors, when you release that, there's a lot of untapped potential that a person has that they could have invested. And it doesn't always have to be productive, just to point that out. But towards a passion, towards a creative project, towards just cultivating healthier relationships, to volunteering if you want to saving the planet, whatever energy that you could do, use if you are, and again, I'm not a therapist and I'm not like able to help you through some sort of addiction issues if that's what's going on here, but finding a way to channel that instead of drowning it and numbing it into a new process is that creative potential, is that energy being diverted into something that will make you feel enriched and enlivened inside. And so with that being said, pile number 3, that is the end of your reading. I thank you so much for joining me today here. This has been a wonderful time despite all the technical difficulties, and thank you for sticking through it with me. I definitely appreciate it. Please do the likes, shares, subscribes. I can't even say that word right now, but you know how the interwebs need to do. You know that the bots need to know, and I would also like to hear from you on what you may want to see as readings in the future, so please do let me know in the comments. And with that, you can also always check out my website, imaginationwitch.com, or imaginationwitch on Instagram for more astrology and tarot and spellcrafting fun. So pile number 3s, I thank you so much for being here with me, and hopefully my production value will get better for you in the future, and we'll see you next time.